Hello everyone, welcome to this video lesson by LaunchPad Education. In this video, you are going to learn what is EU or the European Union, what is Eurozone, why these were created, when these were created and how these were created. Brexit is in the news these days. Brexit is a combination of two words, that is Britain and exit. That implies that Britain is exiting something. So Britain is coming out of EU or the European Union. What are the reasons behind that? To understand the Brexit issue, you need to understand why in the first place EU was created. So that is what we are going to discuss in this video lesson, the history and evolution of European Union. Before that, we need to understand certain basic things like what is EU and what is Eurozone. So starting our discussion from here, European Union, it is an economic and political union. Economic union, it means a certain number of countries, they come together and they decide to make similar, common economic policies. So the tax rates will be same, products will be treated equally in all these countries who are part of this economic union. Similarly, political union means certain political decisions are also going to be same for all these countries who are part of a political union or an economic union. Coming to the EU, EU is an economic and political union of 28 European countries. So that means the number of member countries in EU is 28. There is another term, Eurozone or the Euro area. There is a lot of confusion between European Union and Eurozone. So you need to understand this term very carefully. Eurozone means a monetary union of 19 of the 28 member countries of European Union. So this is a monetary union. And 19 countries out of the 28 member states, they are part of Eurozone. So EU has 28 members, Eurozone has 19 members, very simply. Now this monetary union, it means that these countries have adopted a common currency. That means Euro is the only currency in these countries. So they are not having a national currency as well as Euro. They are having the only currency, that is Euro is the only currency in these 19 countries which are part of Eurozone. Now there are remaining 9 members, 19 members are in Eurozone, total members are 28. So the remaining 9 members, they have an obligation to adopt Euro in the future. But not all of these, most of these have this obligation. Britain, that is exiting the European Union, they never had such an obligation. They had their national currency and they were using that. Now this is a map of Europe. Before starting the discussion of history and evolution of European Union, you need to see certain basic features of this map of Europe. Majorly the countries like Ireland, UK, France, Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Germany. Germany was divided into two parts till 1990, which is West Germany and East Germany. This is country Luxembourg. This is Belgium and Netherlands. Our story of evolution of EU will start from these countries. So looking at the past of EU, how it was created, starting with this history and evolution of EU. It all started when the Second World War ended in 1945. Second World War, it happened between 1939 and 1945, and obviously it was a very destructive, very devastating event in the history of Europe. So when this war ended, all the countries, they sat together and they were discussing the measures that need to be taken to avoid any such war at such a large scale. So basically the idea was to avoid any further conflict between the countries of Europe in future. And it was believed that increased trade between countries will make them economically interdependent. So two countries are doing a lot of trade with each other, or more than 2 countries, 10 countries are doing a lot of trade with each other. Their economies are going to get dependent on each other. So if they engage in a war, their economies are going to suffer. So due to this, they are going to avoid any further conflict. This is also the story presently of India and China, that they have become the largest. China has become the largest trading partner for India. That is why before starting any conflict, both the countries are very cautious and they resolve every small dispute on the border through dialogue, right? So that was the idea. in 1940s after the Second World War ended to create countries economically interdependent and as a result reduce any future chances of conflict. So I told you three countries, Belgium, Netherlands and Luxembourg. In 1947 these countries they came together and they created a Benelux customs union. Benelux, this is derived from Belgium, Netherlands and Luxembourg. A customs union was created aiming to eliminate tariffs and custom barriers. So when a country imports any product from another country, custom duty is applied on the imports. And there are certain other taxes, tariffs, some more barriers. So when any countries they come together to form a customs union, what they basically decided, they are going to remove maximum barriers to trade. They are going to have common taxes, they are going to have lesser taxes, and hence the trade is going to get increased. In 1947, Benelux Customs Union was created. In 1948, Britain and France became a part of Benelux Customs Union. This was the first baby step towards the evolution of a common economic political union in the Europe. Next step was in 1952, a very important community was created. It was called European Coal and Steel Community. European Coal and Steel Community, as the name suggests, duties and barriers on coal, iron and steel were removed. 6 countries were part of this community: France, West Germany. That is why I told you in the first 2 minutes that Germany was divided till 1990 into 2 parts, West Germany and East Germany. That is altogether a different story of Cold War after the World War, Second World War ended. So France, West Germany, Italy, Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, all these countries were part of European Coal and Steel Community. This is important, so you need to keep this in your mind. ECSC. Duty barriers were removed on coal, iron and steel. Britain did not join. Now this is important. The reasons why Britain did not become a part of ECSC, they are similar to the reasons why Britain is now exiting European Union. Reason, broadly we can say that Britain feels, or the British people feel, or some of the politicians in Britain, they start feeling that being part of such a community or a common union, it reduces the control of British people over their country. Now, so if they were part of European Coal and Steel Community, they were not going to have as much power to decide on the duties and barriers on coal, iron, steel. But what happened? ECSC, it became highly successful. It became very successful after its creation in 1952, and steel production it rose by around 50% in 5 years. So whenever trade barriers are reduced among any countries, trade is going to get increased. Prices are going to get down. So people are going to buy more things. Manufacturing is going to increase. Jobs are going to get increased. So economically, it is a very prudent, it is a very wise decision. The next step was taken in 1958. More goods were to be included in the community that was created. So now they create another community and name that European Economic Community. It was created by Treaty of Rome in 1958, again with 6 countries. Which 6 countries are part of this? Belgium, Germany, France, Italy, Luxembourg and Netherlands. Now this is West Germany that we are talking about. In 5 years after the creation of European Economic Community, it became world's biggest exporter. So that was the massive positive impact of creation of EEC, that it became world's biggest exporter. Now again Britain stayed out, but later it wanted to join. Now France was part of EEC and France wanted to stay the most powerful country within EEC and it wanted Britain to stay out. That is why France vetoed the entry of Britain twice. So Britain could only become member of this community when this community was enlarged in 1973. Till that, France was resisting entry of Britain. So Britain has a history of coming in late into these communities and now it is trying to get out of this community again for the same reasons that they want more control over their own economy. They want more control over their country. So now Britain, Denmark and Ireland, these 3 countries, they joined EEC or the European Economic Community. Now, the biggest year in the history of European Union was 1992. In 1992, EU was created. And it is very important to know that the treaty was Treaty of Maastricht. Through this treaty, EU was finally created after many successful experiments of many countries coming together, reducing barriers first on very few products like coal, steel, and then on more products, and finally a complete European Union is created. Today, EU has 28 member countries, which we have already discussed. These are part of a single economic market. The economic market is single with common laws on some matters. Obviously, they have decided that on some matters they are going to have common laws as well. So that is why we are calling it a political union. EU has many institutions which we are going to discuss in another video lesson, like the European Parliament, which are making laws. They have their own judiciary and so on. So 28 countries, they have free movement of people, goods, services and capital. This is the basic principle of globalization or reduction of trade barriers among countries, opening up of borders for more economic trade. Free movement of people, goods, services and capital is ensured. EU citizens, they have a common citizenship as well. Next major step was in 1999, a new currency named Euro was launched, and as I told you, 19 countries out of the 28 EU member countries, they are part of Eurozone, so they have a currency that is Euro. UK is not part of Eurozone. We are focusing on UK because this history and evolution of EU, it becomes important only because Brexit is in the news. Brexit is happening since 2016 when there was a referendum that was conducted by the British government, and people of Britain, they were asked whether they wish to stay within European Union or they wish to come out of it. Majority decided, though it was a very thin majority, but majority decided that they wish to come out of European Union. Since then, EU and Britain, they are negotiating a deal of how future relationship between Britain and EU will be. So that is what makes this issue very important for UPSC, all the state services and all other competitive exams which require you to have knowledge of current affairs. So this was the history and evolution of EU. You have learnt EU, Eurozone as well as Euro. For more such videos, please subscribe this channel. If this video was helpful in making things clear to you, like this video and give your feedback in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching.